Hi, Amanda. I am going to give you feedback, video feedback up till week 6, kind of reevaluating where you're at. And so here goes. So you've got the week 1 assessment here, and it's in a Word document, which is, you should use Google. Um, so you've got a self-assessment here, and you're giving yourself a grade of A. So it's a very detailed assessment, and that's impressive. You've got the asynchronous activities. Um, okay, this is going to be all in Word. Okay, that's interesting. So you looked at this. It's a good reflection. That's solid. Um, yeah, you, yeah, it's a reasonable reflection. It's not detailed in terms of what you looked at and what you thought of it. For example, the mapping tool, the audio tool, or whatever. But it's decent. And then missing information completed here. Personal storybook, and that's something that you're creating. And a story for general. Okay, so you're creating a storybook. You've got week 3. You've got your progression here. I can see through this. Um, it looks like you should be close to submitting, right? Because it looks illustrated age appropriate storybook. Okay, yeah, I would think you'd be close to submitting your project. So I can see the progress throughout there. That's fine. You've got your weekly contributions, as in class contributions, which is fine. And then you've got your resource, although you should follow this example. Um, so really, I'd say it's sort of at an A minus there. Um, you've got a good reflection, and you could have dug deeper maybe in your reflections here in the Gen AI. It's a little tricky to see what you learned. But overall, A minus to A quality work. You've got a self-assessment here, and you're spending good time giving that self-assessment, and an A minus. I'd say that's a good reflection there. The Gen A activity was, I believe, so this is the link to the activity, but you're supposed to produce something. Oh, sorry, that's you doing in-class stuff, it looks like. Um, so this is interesting. You're missing what we were supposed to do. So go to lesson 2, and there was a document that was supposed to be produced, and this isn't it. I don't believe. You're doing some sort of debate here. I don't think that actually that wasn't the activity. So that's missing. And I don't see a reflection there, so that's missing. You've got your storybook there and your in-class contributions. So that's fine, yep. And then I don't see any contributions here. You didn't do a self-assessment here. There's a Gen AI activity here. So you're kind of getting into the B range now. And you've got 45 minutes on this task looking at napkin AI, which is fine, but I don't see the final report. So yeah, and then you still have that storybook, you have the in-class contributions, which is fine. But you don't make any contributions to the community resources here. So you're moving towards a B minus actually. No self-grading here. We have this activity. And so you're doing a reflection, but you're not producing anything. And each week you're supposed to produce something. Well, we've got something in Canva here, it looks like. So some sort of project, okay, which looks quite good. But you haven't submitted that project. No reflection on the project, no community contribution. So now we're hitting kind of the incomplete range. So you wouldn't be passing at this point. And you haven't submitted any activities for the Gen AI. Like each week, if you look at the thing at the activity, it says, do this report stored in this document, and I want to see what you produced. Now you have a self-grading here, so we kind of make some come back here. However, let's take a look. You've got these activities. I don't know what this is. Microphone. Okay, yeah. So this is exactly what we're looking at. So that's done well. That's done very well. You get the breakout room activity. You don't need that. We've got there's the deep learning document. So that's top notch. You don't have any reflection here that I can see. You don't have to use the prompt, but there's some sort of reflection. So that's missing. You've got you've got a summary for this week. Spent a lot of time on this week. So that's impressive in terms of that. And you have an in-class contribution. Okay, so yeah, that's impressive. And then I believe we're not doing resources at this point, so we can just delete that. You've got a self-grading thing here for 6. And you looked at Skywork, which is kind of interesting, actually. I heard about it, which is great. Wait a second, is that like self-grading? That's Skywork? No, let me just see. General activity, okay. I'm not sure your argument is strong there. That's the Gen AI activity, I guess. I'm going to go back. I feel like I'm going in circles here. You explored this. You gave the purpose. Yes. Okay. That's output. That's solid. No reflection on that. You've got a grading here. You've got a flipping book. Looks like you're making some progress and working on things. So that looks actually pretty cool. Which is nice. And then final reflection. Okay, so this has to be submitted to me through an email. And you're going to want to actually refer to, you want to go to Canvas and use the guide that I provided there, which it looks like you've kind of done that, but yeah, you've done this in a paragraph format. Learning and growth, you haven't put in the objectives of the course. And I don't see a final grade that you're actually giving yourself. And I don't know what this is. This is 15 minutes. So I'm not sure if that's a new project. So it looks like you're doing some really good work on your project. Where are we at here? Up to weeks 4, you're kind of incomplete I mean, there's some definitely good work in the first week, and then it starts to be very, very choppy. You'd be sort of at a B minus if I were being generous, because there's some pretty significant things missing. And then for week 5 and 6, it's much stronger, except there's no reflections for your Gen A activity in either. And it looks like you have a project ready to submit. So make sure you submit that. So if I were guessing, depending on your project, you're kind of at it's very uneven. So you're obviously capable of A work, but not always doing it. I'm sure you're busy. So I'm thinking there's some things if they're completed in the weeks 2 and 3, you could be at a B plus. You're somewhere between B and a B plus at this point. The project could change that quite a bit because it looks like you have a project. You need to submit that to me through an email, and then I can mark it and give you feedback. So yeah, that's where I think we stand now.